What's up, homies? Welcome to another episode of the Homies Real Estate Podcast. Here's your host, Anthony.
I'm Angel.
I'm a realtor.
I'm a lender.
And together we're going to break down this crazy real estate market. We got a great question for you. Should you wait to put 20% down or should you purchase now? This is a question that me and Angel always get asked. And it is a question that we're going to answer. We have a tremendous scenario that we're going to walk you through, showcasing what the median sales price in Los Angeles County is right now. And if you were to purchase with a small, and then what it would look like if you waited 2 years and purchased with 20% down, and why it makes sense to go one way or the other. So, Angel, first things first, do you need 20% down to purchase a home, or is that a myth?
I mean, if you guys been listening to the podcast, you should already know this answer. We've gone over so many different options where you do not need 20% down, right? We just went over conventional, FHA, and VA over the last few weeks. You know, we've mentioned that, conventional you can do as low as 3% down for your first-time home buyers. FHA is 3.5%, and VA, you veterans 0% down. And then there's also down payment assistance available to you, down payment assistance programs. Although I will admit it's probably not the market for it right now, but those programs do exist though, right? So you don't need nowhere near 20% down.
Absolutely. And in fact, the average down payment for a first-time home buyer is just 6%. So that just shows you that it's really difficult, especially in high-cost areas like Los Angeles County, Southern California, to go in with 20% down, to go in with $150,000+ down, right? So, Angel, let's go into the podcast scenario. So we're looking at Los Angeles County, and we're just going to trace what the appreciation rate is since 2017. So we're using a rolling 12 months of data. Again, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, I really recommend for this podcast to watch it on YouTube, just because you're going to be able to follow the charts and it makes it a lot easier to understand. But anyways, so we're looking at Los Angeles County appreciation from 2017 to now, using a rolling 12 months of data, just because it allows us to see a much more linear, predictable appreciation rate. And the 5-year home value appreciation rate for Los Angeles County is 8.55%. Now, this number is really, really important because that's going to be able to tell us what home values are going to be worth more than likely in 2 years or so. So right now, using a rolling 12 months of data, in Los Angeles County, the median sales price is $825,000. Now, if we plug in this $825,000 into a future home value calculator, and we take the 8.55 appreciation rate for 2 years, your home, or this same exact home, will now be worth $972,105.96. So you can see that it's gone up, roughly $150,000. That's quite a bit, right? So Angel, let's look at the mortgage for both these scenarios. A payment at $825 with 5% down, with 5.5%. So what would that look like?
Yes, so that payment, 5% down, which is $41,250. That would be your down payment again. And again, at the interest rate of 5.5%, you're looking at a monthly payment. This is principal, interest, estimated property taxes, home insurance, and mortgage insurance is $5,661.
$5,661. Now, let's take a look at the payment. If you decided to wait 2 years for that same exact home, that's now worth $972,105.96 with 20% down at 5%.
So 20% down at $972,105 or $106 would be $194,421. Right. Interest rate, we're gonna assume that in 2 years, let's say the interest rate is at 5% now, right? You're looking at a monthly payment of $5,292.
Yeah, so $5,292. Again, we assumed that this home is gonna follow the appreciation rate we saw the last 5 years, and we're also making the assumption that interest rates are going to be at 5% as opposed to 5.5% what they are now. So we are assuming a better interest rate. And also because you do go in with 20% down, Angel, correct me if I'm wrong, but you usually get a much better interest rate than you would if you go in with less than 20%.
Yeah, it tends to be, of course, a better rate. And then I think the 5% is just, we're even showing here, like if it's even excuse me, I'm trying to put this in best terms. We're at 5%, right? It's pretty conservative, right? We're showing that the rate dropped 0.5%, right?
Yeah.
And in 2 years, and the payment difference is only less than, not only less, it's still a good amount, but $400, right? But,
yes.
We'll explain right now about the option you can do as a home buyer at this point.
Absolutely. And another important thing to note here is there is no PMI for 20% down. That's why the payment tends to be a little bit lower. But you can see that the property taxes are higher because obviously your home is going to be worth more in 2 years. So you're looking at property taxes over $1,000 with $1,000 a month with a home price of $972,106, whereas property taxes are about $859 with the purchase price of $825. So, there are some pros and cons to both already, just right off of the bat. So now let's take a look at what your equity position would be if you decided to go the route one, if you decided to purchase at $825,000 with 5% down. So I'm going to plug in this into an amortization calculator, right? So if we go in with 5% down, you're really looking at 825 minus 41,250, which leaves you a mortgage amount of $783,750. We're assuming a 30-year mortgage, and again, the 5.5% interest rate. So if you scroll down for 2 years in April 2024, because we're assuming that you started in April 2022, in April 2024, in 2 years, your loan balance will be $757,881.82. That's how much you owe on the home. Now, with the loan balance of $757,882.82, you have $214,224 in equity. Again, that's considering that your home is worth a $972,106 that we've been assuming that the median sales price will be in 2 years. Right? So you now have an equity position of well over 20%. And now at this point, you will be able to refinance to remove that PMI, right? That private mortgage insurance that you were paying roughly $200. What is this, Angel? It was roughly $250 a month.
In PMI.
Yes, exactly. So run us through that refinance scenario.
Yes, this is a perfect example of leveraging, right? Leveraging your home equity. So now at this point, you have that 20% equity. How Anthony said, to remove the $250 of PMI. Along with that, we are assuming that interest rates are going to get better, right? So interest rates are at 5% now, 5% interest rate. So at that point, you're looking at a monthly payment if you refinance your current home balance of $5,032.
$5,032. So now let's compare both, right? $825 with 5% down, and then in 2 years refinancing, and then also just waiting 2 years and putting 20% down. So if you go with the first route, conventional 5% down at $825, your down payment just to get in is $41,250, right? Because you're doing 5% down. Your equity after 2 years is roughly $214,224. Your monthly payment after 2 years is roughly $5,032. Now, if you decided to do the conventional 20% down at the median sales price of $972,105.96, right? If you waited those 2 years, your down payment is going to be $194,421. Your equity is going to be the same just because you've just purchased the property at $194,421. And then your monthly payment is going to be $5,292. So you can see that in every way possible, pretty much, it makes more sense to purchase sooner than later. You come in with less money out of pocket, you have more equity, and then you also have a much more affordable monthly payment. And again, these are both assuming a 5% interest rate in 2 years, right? Or in 2024 when you decide to purchase or refinance. So this should give you a pretty good idea whether it makes sense to purchase now or later. But of course, there's always going to be some things to consider. So Angel, what is one of the most important questions to consider that would make you want to wait as opposed to purchasing now?
A couple things, right? I think first and foremost, how we always, me and Anthony, emphasizes it doesn't matter how much you qualify for, but what monthly payment you're comfortable with, right? So if you're taking on a 5% down option, obviously we mentioned that your monthly payment is going to be higher, right? Are you comfortable with that higher payment is something to consider. If you're not, then maybe saving for 20% down is a better option for you. But I think even a better option is maybe finding a home where you are comfortable with, leveraging that equity, selling it in 2 years, and purchasing that home that you want, right? Just so you're not wasting time losing out on equity. In 2 years, you'd rather be a homeowner. It might not be your dream home, or might not be the home you want to live in forever, but at least you're making not only do you get to live in a house that's yours, but you're also making a financial decision that's going to benefit you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really, really important, right? Whether you can afford to purchase with a smaller down payment, or if you actually genuinely have to wait to put 20% down. I would say though that if you're able to just budget accordingly, right? And maybe let's just say you have 10% down, right? But you feel like, you know what, if I put 10% down, I'm really going to be left with no money and it's going to be really, really tight for me. You might be able just to go on with 5% down, set aside that 5% and just know, hey, for the next 2 years until the equity position is at 20%, I'm going to be taking from that 5% that I have set aside to help me make these monthly payments. So that might be another option for you, just to buy you some time for the home to continue to appreciate, because we are in an appreciating market. We have been since 2013.
Exactly.
Another good question to consider is, how long will it take you to save 20%? 20% of a $972,000 home, as we mentioned before, is about $170,000. Is that what it was?
Let's see. And from 2 years from now,
$194,000, right? That's a lot of money to save up, especially the jump between 5% to 20% down. So if it's going to take you 3, 4, 5 years, like that's a long time. Maybe as opposed to trying to catch that 20% down within an appreciating market where every single year you have to save a little bit more, maybe it makes sense just to let the appreciation work for you, right? So it's just something to consider as well. Anything else, Angel?
One big thing that I really want to hit on is so many people are scared of mortgage insurance, right? Oh, I don't want PMI. I don't want to pay this extra monthly cost that doesn't benefit me. It protects the bank. But really, it's a perfect opportunity to leverage the bank's money, right? To benefit you in the future. Yeah, you may be paying $250. If you're on an FHA loan, that's even going to be more expensive. But what are you gaining out of it? You're gaining equity. You're gaining equity, right? And not only that, but more importantly, especially if you have a family, you have kids, you're able to have a place where you can call your own, right? And you don't have to save 20%. You don't have to wait to save 20% down. And a lot of times for many families, it's unrealistic to think that they're going to be able to save 20% down just with the cost of living going up, rents going up, groceries going up, gas going up. What's the likelihood that you're actually going to be able to save that money, right? So what I really, really want to emphasize is don't be scared of mortgage insurance, but actually look at it as more of an opportunity and something you can leverage to get you in a home quicker. And remember, it's not permanent. Mortgage insurance is not permanent. You can remove that, and eventually you'll also, by removing it, save money on your monthly payment.
Yeah, absolutely. And mortgage insurance, like Angel said, is relatively affordable. Like it isn't a huge expense. You saw the scenario here. It's $250 a month for you to get in with 5% down. So that's why the average down payment for first-time home buyers is just 6%. They realize that it's really difficult to go in with 20% down when you're purchasing your first home. So don't be scared. Don't be afraid to go in with a smaller down payment. Utilize the FHA 3.5% down, which is a tremendous program, or a conventional 5% down. Just remember that you can only have one owner-occupied financing at a time. Essentially, you can only have one loan at a time that's out with less than 20% down. Yeah, but I mean, aside from that, this should give you a really good idea of whether you should wait, whether you should purchase. Again, we are big fans of getting in as soon as possible. As long as you have the means, as long as you can make that payment comfortably, even if it means setting aside $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, knowing that, hey, payments are going to be very, very tight for the next 2 years. But, after 2 to 3 years, considering it's an appreciating market, I'll be able to refinance, remove that private mortgage insurance. And then now my payment is $200, $300, $400 more affordable. Yeah. So thank you, homies, for joining us for this podcast. I hope this enlightens you. I hope this gives you a good idea of what to expect in this market. Again, Angel, where can we find you at?
At Your Mortgage Angel on Instagram.
At Your Mortgage Angel on Instagram. This guy's a monster lender. You know where to find us, at the Luevanos Group. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please click that notifications button. And with that said, I do want to wish you all the best. Take care, homies. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Hey, homies, it's Anthony. This podcast contains my opinions and is for educational purposes only. It does not guarantee any projections and should not serve as a basis for any purchase or sale in real estate.